Real-life sex doll Megan Fox has been called to action in a new film, rated R, hour and 40 minutes long, called Subservience. Think of it as a sexy Megan, an android who's there to please her master in the hottest ways possible. Let's talk about Subservience. When I saw a trailer featuring that girl from the first couple Transformers movies that was known for straddling a motorcycle in a really hot way, I thought to myself, you know what? This is the perfect role for Megan Fox. A lifeless humanoid who kind of tilts the head and just looks super hot all the time. And it helps that she kind of looks like a blow-up doll. And I know, because I own several blow-up dolls. If you blink really fast, she might also look like a Kardashian sister, but no, this is Megan Fox now in 2024. Before I get into it, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to my channel, which means hitting the subscribe and the notification bell, I would appreciate it. That way you might be seeing more of me in the future. I'll give this movie credit right out of the gates. It wastes no time jumping into things. And then it wastes all the time continuing into things. But for the first 15 or so minutes, I thought, damn, we're getting right into it. I like this. We got a wife who's at death's door. She needs a new heart. We have a husband at home with a child and a baby. How is he going to find time to raise these kids and still go to his construction gig with a bunch of colleagues who are about to be replaced by robots? Well, the answer's simple. You hire a hot, sexy female robot of your own to take care of the little things around the house. You know, cleaning up, cooking some meals, burping the baby, jerking you off, tucking your daughter in, reading a book, fondling your balls, just things like that, you know, everyday things. This is kind of promising to be a harder R, stronger version of that Kids Bop Megan movie we had a couple years ago that people liked, and I thought was fun. It's PG-13. It's silly. It's got some fun kills, some creative dialogue. This had that for a little while, but then the movie starts to kick in more, and you're like, oh shit, I'm just gonna be sitting here watching a lot of slow-ass moving scenes play out that don't really go anywhere fast and seem to be more preoccupied just moving that camera around little bits at a time and getting reactions to things that don't need to really have reactions at all. It was just so tedious by the time it wound down, and nothing really that great happened. Yeah, so as this movie starts to unfold, the wife being at the hospital away from the house, husband's got needs. He's got a good-looking woman that can meet those needs. Which begs the question, is it really cheating if she's not real? Well, the wife seems to think so. She's gonna get pretty pissed when she comes back and finds out that house that she used to have isn't really a home she feels welcome in anymore, because our evil robot temptress, appropriately named Alice, based off the hit book, finds herself a little bit more aware of her surroundings. This movie's gonna play out exactly like Megan does, including a scene later on where Alice is taken back to the shop where two scientists will work on her and she will hack her way into the system. It's the same movie, but nothing that sexual really happens. You get a couple scenes here or there. They're nothing great. This isn't even like 50 Shades of Grey level. All right, your soccer mom's not going to be swooning over this. Oh dear, heavens to Betsy, it's getting hot in here. Oh, this walking, talking sex doll is really doing it for me. And I'm gonna give props to Megan Fox. This is the exact type of movie she was born to play. Genuinely, this is the role for her. Outside Jennifer's Body, which, yes, whenever you talk about Megan Fox, you have to mention Jennifer's Body. It's just a requirement. Like, she was in that one good movie where she did a good job playing like a snotty brat. I also kind of think that the reason this movie exists is because the other one, Megan, is called Megan. And so a director, writer was like, Megan Fox is like a robot. We should just use her and make the same movie. But, you know, with tits, which we don't see, by the way. I don't think there's any real nudity. Maybe the wife, a tiny little blink and you'll miss. So you're not really getting much even on that standpoint. No, this is just a lukewarm bath. You sit there thinking, man, I wish this bath was hotter. And then you try to turn it on and get it a little warmer, but there's no warm water left because you played yourself and used it all earlier. And so now the water is so high up, it's starting to spill out of the tub, and there's just nowhere for you to go. I feel like I lost this analogy halfway through it, but we're just gonna press on anyways. As for the kill count, really non-existent. I think maybe 2? I don't fucking know. Very little happens as far as the horror stuff. It's not scary. There's really hardly any violence. You know, she's super strong, but really outside of catching an arm or a bottle once in a while, not much there. At one point, she does a bit of a Hadouken punch, like, oh, you get, and throws the guy through a wall. One more negative. The husband, the good-looking dad, the protagonist of the film, Nick, can't understand a word he says. He's got a rich accent. It's heavy. It's hard to understand him. So we actually, the wife and I, thought this was going to be a magical experience for us both. It wasn't. We turned on subtitles because we couldn't understand what the fuck this guy was saying. And I think at one point earlier, he tried to do an American accent and then he just said, screw it, halfway through the film. I'm going all in on the native tongue. I couldn't understand him, and I have pretty good hearing. So that's another negative for sure. You know, I really thought Subservience was going to be the one, that shining diamond in this bucket of shit that I've been seeing on streaming services. I'm not entirely sure if this was I think this was a direct to streamer. It's on Netflix. I felt like it was a video on demand first somewhere else, so I'm not going to give Netflix even credit for this one. But this is where I watched it and where you can probably watch it if you want. But again, I would not waste watch M3GAN, it's better. Unless you just like looking at Megan Fox for a while, but we got a couple Transformers movies, although I think she's pretty young in those, and we're getting older. That's the problem with characters in films that you grew up with. They stay looking like that, you don't, plus you've aged 20-some years. It's not a good place to be. What I've done. Dun, 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 dun. I think there was music in this movie, but I couldn't be bothered to tell you. The theme song's incredibly generic. The film quality and stuff, it's all well done, has a bit of a futuristic vibe. I think what annoys me about movies like this, they string you along enough. There's a promise of something greater to come. And the scenes that you watch as they're unfolding aren't terrible. They're just so terribly lame. But there's interesting things around the corners. For instance, the whole construction subplot about his crew being replaced. I liked that the robots that took over are not near as advanced as our M3GAN character Alice is. They're workhorses, so they don't have to put as much intelligence into them. They're more robotic in their movements. Where to, sir? I also like that this feature has been predicted for a while within the movie, and people are like, yeah, we've known about these robots taking over for 15 years. The writing has been on the wall. So there is a little bit of cool lore and interesting things, percolating in the distance. But there's just nothing on its face that's all that exciting, and that's a problem when you're trying to, be entertained for an hour and 45. Are you not entertained? No, I wasn't. I needed Ridley Scott here to drop a coliseum and some goddamn sharks in the water, because that's the only way to hold my attention anymore, apparently. Bring on Gladiator 3, I say. Go even more zany with things, Ridley. Have them fight on the backs of giraffes while the ground is on fire, and there's people shooting like AR-15s at our heroes. With Linkin Park playing. So I can see some bullshit articles, and then the people that read those articles online go, actually, they did have giraffes walking around in fire coliseums with AR-15s firing while Linkin Park was playing. That's all historically accurate. Nothing made me smile and laugh harder than the people that were commenting on Gladiator 2, where I pointed out how silly that Coliseum scene was, because they're like, actually, they did flood the Coliseum. They never mentioned the fact that there was like 8 sharks in there. That part's always left off the conversation, but no, it was halfway plausible. Anyway, I'm completely off on a side tangent. That's M3GAN. Is that what this is called? Let me know if you saw it. Please think about subscribing to the channel, hitting that notification bell, and becoming a patron. That's a new thing I'm busting out at the end of this video. Join me on Patreon at patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies. It's the best way to support my one-man band and this channel. I would absolutely appreciate it. Thank you, friend. Subscribe. All right, hopefully I see you next time. Take care.